What's going on, guys? It's good to see you. Well, not see you because I'm not with you. Although I really wish I was. I really wish I could be in person with you all because I'm super excited to be Green Nation captain this school year. We're going to grow so much, and I really want to meet every single one of you because that's when growth is going to happen. God's going to move when we're together, and I'm hoping that He's moving tonight. I really wish I could be there, but I am 6.5 hours away in Michigan. I'm at a summer camp. I was preaching this week, and I couldn't miss it. So I'm here standing next to Noah's Ark, actually. They found it, and it's in Michigan. I don't know how it got here, but it's right there. I can see it. Anyway, if you don't know me, my name is Bennett Spees. I'm your captain this year, and I'm super excited to do that. And I was asked to share a fun fact about myself, so we're going to keep it right there, keep it with my name. My name is Bennett. Now, my name is a cool history, cool story. My first name, Bennett, is actually my mom's maiden name. There was no one in her family that was going to keep her name going, so they gave it to me as my first name, which makes family reunions really weird because they're like, hey, what's your name? And I'm like, Bennett. And they're like, yeah, we all are. But that's really cool. And actually, Bennett was my last name for a little bit too. There's some weird rules in Michigan, and because of the circumstances of my birth, when I was born, my birth certificate said Bennett, which I think is really, really funny because Bennett means blessed. Bennett means blessed. It means you have been blessed, and certainly I feel blessed by God. Just to be your captain, I feel blessed. But when my name was Bennett for a time, that would translate to blessings upon blessings. Which I think was, maybe God's funny way of saying, I have a plan for you and I'm going to use you for great things, which makes me super excited every single time I think about that. And I think that's very, very cool. And you might not, but you're wrong. Anyway, enough about me. I was asked to share with you guys a verse that has very much impacted me. And this verse I'm going to share with you, I've coined my life goal verse. It's in 2 Timothy. 2 Timothy, written by the Apostle Paul. It's most likely his last letter. And if you know the life of the Apostle Paul, he was about to be executed. Oh, man. Hold up. I had a feeling when I was packing for this trip, I need my tripod. And I should have brought it. But I was like, no, I'm not going to record anything. Anyways, 2 Timothy. Paul is writing this to Timothy, who was his, number one guy. Paul planted churches everywhere. He had raised up elders, people like Titus, which is the book after 2 Timothy. Apollos, a partner of Paul. Barnabas, partner of Paul. And so he had done all this stuff, but Timothy was his guy. Timothy was his man. And in 2 Timothy, Paul was writing instructions to Timothy before he goes away to be executed. Paul, because of the mission of the gospel, had faced crazy opposition, crazy persecution, even shipwreck. He actually lists it out for us in one of his letters. He's like, if anyone suffered, I've suffered for the gospel. And that was a mark of pride for him. He was like, I boast all the more in my sufferings because Christ is glorified. And that is amazing. But as he's writing to Timothy, he gets to chapter 4. And hold up, gotta get there. And he says this. He says in verse 7, I have fought the good fight, I finished the race, I have kept the faith. Henceforth, or therefore, there is laid up for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day, and not only to me, but also to all who have loved his appearing. That, ever since I heard that verse, I was sitting, I remember it very clearly. I was sitting in second grade, maybe, in a circle of people at church, Sunday school. And we're like, what's your favorite verse, guys? Because we had nothing else to talk about. We were 8 years old. They're like, what's your favorite verse? And there was this girl who was sitting over here, and I wish I knew her name. I wish I'd stayed friends with her. But she was sitting over there, and she said 2 Timothy 4:7. I was like, I've never heard of that one before. And she read it, and I said, that is it. 2 Timothy 4:7-8. That's my goal. That's my goal. Because what Paul is doing here is he's reflecting on his life. Paul is saying, this is the summation of my life and my ministry. I have fought the good fight, finished the race, and kept the faith. If anyone had reason to give up on Christianity because it was too hard, it was too much, it was the Apostle Paul. If anyone had a good reason to say, I'm done, I'm out of here, it was the Apostle Paul. But he didn't, because he knew that laid up for him was the crown of righteousness. He knew that what God was going to reward him with for his service, and what God had already given to him freely in the salvation that comes through Jesus, was deserving of every scar and every whipping that Paul could offer down as his living sacrifice to God. I hope when I come to my final moments, as the Apostle Paul is here wrestling with his final moments, that I can sit and say honestly that I've fought the good fight, I've finished the race, and I've kept the faith. And I hope that every one of you can be there as well. And my goal, at least for this year, short term, is to get to the end of the school year and say the ministry and the work that we did together, the growth that we experienced together, was right in line with what God has called us to do. We fought the good fight. Sometimes serving together in community, sometimes being together in community is a fight. It's a struggle. I think we all know that. Sometimes our groups have tensions and they fall apart and they come back together. You know, sometimes it feels like a marathon, like a race. But in the end, we're called to keep the faith. We're called to stay true to the mission that we have been entrusted with by God, and to see it to its final end, because we know that there is a reward for us, that the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to all who have loved his appearing. Paul here is looking forward to the coming of Christ and also to his own death, knowing that when he sees the Lord, he will be given a reward. And to me, that's amazing, because the gospel is given freely. The wages of sin is death. So if we deserve anything, it's punishment. It's hell. But God is so gracious that not only does he give us freely the message and the salvation that comes through the gospel, but he gives us rewards for the service that we do to the gospel. And that's amazing. And so this year, as we're working together, and we're going to be doing things like this, and hopefully some of you guys are interested in speaking and being up here, and you have things that the Lord has put in your heart to share to the students and to your peers. But our goal here is to come to a realization, to grow in the knowledge and the truth of God's love for you, so that that love would motivate you, that love would persuade you to living a life that is dedicated to keeping the faith, that is dedicated to Christ. That you can say with the Apostle Paul that I have fought the good fight, finished the race, and kept the faith. Super excited for this year. Super excited for everything that God is going to do through Tribes as a whole, but especially in our group. I have so many things planned and things that I would love to do with you guys specifically. And next time I see you, I'm going to have all of those things planned out so we can talk about them and get that started. I really hope you guys are doing well, and I can't wait to see you face to face next Wednesday, which I think is Gone Country. But more about that from somebody else. Thank you.